Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, I saw an interview with Elon Musk in which he was asked if he lost everything and had to start all over with $1,000, what would he do? He danced around the question and basically said there's nothing you can do with $1,000. Can you answer the question, what would you do if you had to start all over with $1,000? So let me say this. There's no way Elon Musk could answer that question because he's never been in a position where he's had to start with $1,000. He comes from money. He comes from access to money and resources. So he wouldn't have a clue because he doesn't have that experience of starting with $1,000 or less. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm like most of you. I didn't come from money, and so I had to start with whatever I had. And in the Great Recession, I pretty much lost it all and had to start all over. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do. But now I'm going to make certain basic assumptions because the question says start all over, but it doesn't quite say where I'm at. I'm going to assume I lost all my money except $1,000. I'm going to assume I lost all my assets, so I can't sell or borrow against any of my assets. I'm going to assume that I destroyed my credit and my credit's in the toilet. But I'm also going to assume that I have the knowledge and experience that I have currently and that I have access to my network currently, because this ain't what would I do to start all over. So the first thing I would do is I would take an enormous amount of time updating my skills. So I would use as many free resources as possible, Khan Academy, edx.org, YouTube, and I would study, particularly in AI, because that's going to be the wave of the future. And if you're going to be successful moving forward, you can't separate yourself from the advancements in AI. So I would spend an enormous amount of time updating my skills, particularly in AI. The next thing I would do would be to start the process of rebuilding my credit. I would find someone who trusts me to add me as an authorized user to their credit card if they already have good credit. What that does is gives me their credit. It's like a loophole in the system. It allows you to basically borrow somebody's credibility, which would boost my credit score somewhat. Now, I don't even need the card. I wouldn't even use the card. Just make me an authorized user, and you can cut the card up yourself. I don't even care. I just need to borrow that credit history. I would also take $250 of the $1,000 if I couldn't get a credit card on my own and get a secured card for $250, and I would use that over and over and over. So with the being an authorized user and constantly using wisely the $250 secure card, I would start the process of building my credit. Now you got to think, we're playing the long game again, right? We still have to play the long game. This is not how am I going to flip $1,000, into $1 million in a year. No, we have to rebuild and play the long game. So that I would do that. The next thing I would do is identify the skills that I have, identify market wants, and match that together to create a business that has very low overhead and initial investment, but a high return. So that will probably be something in the information business because pretty much that's what you get there. So I would take $175 of that money and start a corporation and restart an information business. So I would take another $100, and after I got my EIN number, open a business checking account. Obviously, I would have to do everything that's as free as possible, set up my social media accounts, and really start pushing the product and build a following and start selling and get money through the business. So where am I at? I wrote it down, 400. So that would bring me down to $475 left. So with the 475, I would take 200 of that and I would open up 2 index funds. One, and then put $100 in each just to get rolling again. I would put one in a total market index fund, and I would put another one in an S&P 500 based index fund. So now I have money coming in or building assets also in the stock market. That's relatively safe and a good return. I would take another 200 and put it in a high interest savings account and use that as an emergency fund. Something's going to come up. I need at least $200 for something that might come up. So I put $200 in a high interest savings account. So now where I'm at, 275. At that point, I would also start delving into real estate. So because I still have my network, I would try to find a property, maybe one that's in distress, maybe one that needs a lot of work, 3 or 4 family property, and I would find a partner who looks pretty good on paper and has some cash, and together we would get a hard money loan to acquire and fix. Now, obviously, with hard money, they might need some money down, so I need a money partner who has some money down. Whatever the split is, we'll work out the split. I don't need I don't even need 50-50, right? Whatever I get from that, I'm going to get from that. But we would do that, rent a place, refinance into a DSCR loan, 30-year mortgage on a DSCR loan. They get paid back their money. The hard money lender gets paid back their money. And we both now can collect rent from that. So now I have some steady income and partial ownership of an asset, which again I can leverage into other things down the road, and will help my credit and all these other things. Then I think I have $75 left. I would leave that $75 for miscellaneous stuff. I might need a subscription to something for an app, whether it's AI or whether it's maybe like something like MailChimp to get out the emails to my subscribers. But pretty much that's it. So with $1,000, I'm pretty much back on my feet. I'd have a business that's pretty much up and running, very low cost. I'd have a piece of real estate that cost me nothing out of pocket. I would have money in the stock market and 2 index funds. So I'd have, and 1 total market. That means I own pretty much everything in the stock market. I would have a high interest savings for my, again, emergency fund in case something came up. And I would have $75 to spare. And my credit would be rebuilding again because I would have an authorized user. I'd be an authorized user and get a secure card. So if I had to start all over with $1,000, I absolutely could. Elon Musk probably wouldn't do any of those things and probably wouldn't have to. But those are things that you can do if you only have $1,000 and you want to get on your feet. Of course, I didn't talk about, it's a long process. We're playing the long game. And to really get back to where I am would take years. But it would get me rolling again. So I'd love to hear your ideas. How would you use $1,000? Do you think you could use $1,000 to get going? But please like, share, subscribe. Keep the questions coming. And I'll see you next Tuesday.